Is it good? So at least you have some sun outside. Not too much. I was expecting more. But, you know, I'm coming from a lot of rain, so it's good to be here with you. I have some slides. I have some labs. And I will try to, you know, alternate a little bit so that I hope that I will not be too boring for you. It's a long morning, but we have a lot of things to say to you. So we will have a quiz, as we said. So keep the attention because you will have questions around what we are telling you. And of course, I would like to start with a bit of strategy, where we are going in terms of F5, why F5 acquired Nginx, what does it mean to be multi-cloud. So basically, Maurizio spoke about the app as the center of our life, right? That's true. I mean, we are facing it as F5 calls the digital revolution because it's not technical only. It's something that is technical and an organization revolution, you know, because people are changing roles. DevOps is a complete, reorganization in terms of technology and people. And in this journey towards the app as the center of our lives, we need to keep attention to security. We really need not to forget security because otherwise everything is useless, you know. And we have been talking with Maurizio about the risk. So in this journey to the cloud, to the app, to DevOps, whatever, one of the most important things is not to risk too much. When we change things, we know that we are going to take some risks. So we need to use technology to reduce this risk, okay? And Maurizio talked about the adoption of the cloud, the public cloud. The public cloud is a very good thing, I think. I like it a lot because you can do whatever you want without caring about servers, storage. Someone else is doing this for you. I mean, the cloud has been defined as the computer of someone else, which is true, basically. It's a computer. But we need to keep an eye on total cost of ownership. So the first thing we did some years ago, with enthusiasm in the public cloud, we took our application and we lift and shifted this application to the cloud. And now we are understanding that it costs too much. And it's the wrong way to use the public cloud. So we need to rethink the application. We need to re-platform the application, you know, in order to reduce the TCO of the application in the public cloud. And then, of course, we need to take care of app services consistency. We are not adopting, nobody is adopting a single cloud, a single public cloud. I mean, if I am a startup, I'm in the first months of activity, I can. But at the end, I will use more than one public cloud for sure, or one public cloud and one private cloud, an hybrid cloud. And as soon as I go to a multi-cloud strategy, I need tools to have a consistency in terms of policies, delivery policies, security policies. If I don't do this, I will lose all the advantages of the public cloud. And we will see some example around this. So basically, when we talk in this scenario, we have some key, let's say, topics. And I like to talk about DevOps, and this is for sure one of the keywords, the cloud native strategy, and especially in the public cloud and everywhere, I would say nowadays, we need to face the microservices revolution. Okay? So this is where we are. This is where we are right now, or this is where we are going. Okay? DevOps, cloud native, and microservices. And there is something in common on these three topics, and this automation. If we want to live in this environment, if we want to take care of these topics, we need to invest a lot in terms of automation and orchestration, because there is no microservices environment without orchestration of the microservices themselves. There is no DevOps without automation. There is no cloud native without both of them, automation and orchestration. So this is where we need to keep the focus. You already saw this slide, and this is exactly what F5 is going to do with the traditional portfolio and the acquisition of Nginx. F5 is going to provide to its own customers a common set of application services, and this set of application services will be available everywhere, in every cloud, private or public or hybrid. What we are talking about? Can I ask you a question? Who knows or use F5 networks? Products. Grazie, Maurizio. Come on. Iger. Okay, thank you. This is for me to understand at which stage we should stay. The set of application services I'm talking about is summarized in this slide. Basically, we have a set of traffic management tools like load balancing or global load balancing, or what we call right now DNS load balancing. Okay, tools that let us publish applications in the internet or on the intranet in a good way. Okay, with high availability, with disaster recovery or business continuity. And then we have a set of application services dedicated to security. And even from the graphic point of view, you can see that this is where F5 has invested a lot of time in developing, a lot of money in products and support, because here we are, doing the difference. We think that here we are doing the difference. So we can provide a set of security services, including traditional firewalling with the DOS protection included. One of the most used web application firewall on the market, which is now evolving in terms of features through an advanced what we call an advanced web application firewall. The suite related to the DDoS protection on-premises and off-premises in the cloud with a sum of products on-premises and in the cloud. Everything related to access management, who the user is, which kind of device is using, which kind of application you want to access. So the identity access management of the application and the users. The visibility of traffic. Nowadays, most of the traffic running on our networks is encrypted. Okay? So the question is, we have been investing a lot of money in configuring and acquiring and configuring tools to help us protecting our users, like DPI, IPS, next generation firewall, antivirus, anti-malware software, whatever. And now we are losing the possibility to have the 100% of the feature on these products because the traffic is encrypted end-to-end. Most of the traffic is encrypted end-to-end. So we need a solution here, and F5 is providing a solution. It's called SSL Orchestration. And with this solution, since we are very strong in the SSL encryption-decryption, we can provide to our customer the possibility to create an unencrypted portion of the network where you can, steer traffic and send traffic to all of your security devices unencrypted, and then re-encrypt the traffic again, just once. Managing the service chain in an intelligent way. So this is one of the last products we released to the market and is getting a lot of traction right now because customers really need this. They need to look at the traffic and what is going on in the traffic. And of course, every set of application services is lose its power if we don't have visibility. When we have an application, especially mission-critical application, we really need to have something that tells us what the application is doing in terms of performances, response time, users, data transfer, whatever. So it's very important that we can provide to our customer the possibility to have the complete visibility on what is going on in terms of application delivery and security. And this is what I am talking about. This is what we are talking about this morning. This is what we are going to see this morning. We will do labs around this. But all the labs will be, I try to have labs that are explaining to you not how to deliver this set of application services in a general way, but how to deliver this set of application services in an automated way. Okay? So this is the key. This is the traditional offer of F5. Who knows F5? Know that this is what we have been selling for years now, okay? Of course, now we are doing this everywhere, in the public cloud, in the private cloud, with the hardware, with the appliances, with the chassis, with the virtual edition, pay as you grow, bring your own license, every kind of these solutions. But now we acquired a company called Nginx. Why we did this? Because we clearly, so going to the public cloud, we clearly saw that there is a divide between what we call devs and what we call ops. So sometimes when we talk about DevOps, we just say that there is a developer who is doing the operation too. This is the most common DevOps we have in our customers. But how we think DevOps is the possibility to bridge the divide, to bridge the gap between a developer and the real ops, the one who takes care of the infrastructure every day, the one that operates the network every day, the security every day. And this is something more complicated because they have different goals. Let's take a developer. The most important goal for the developer is to deliver the application with a very challenging time to market, as fast as possible. Develop and release it, okay? On the other side, we have the operation that they need to take care of security, they need to take care of the infrastructure, they need to take care of about the interaction between the private cloud and the public cloud, routing, security, whatever. So the two things are not cooperating very well. So we have the possibility here to take the best of different solutions in order to put them together, like the F5 traditional application services and the Nginx application services, to bridge these two worlds. Sorry. At the end, the goal, and we will go into deeply into this after the coffee break with Nginx, but the goal is to have the real multi-cloud application services platform, which is not a single platform, is a set of platforms, hardware and software, with two different companies, which are now the same company, to deliver this set of application services, the same set of application services everywhere, with the right technology in the right place. Just to give an example, if you are in the private cloud, you will use most probably the traditional F5 engine. If you are in the public cloud, you will use most probably the new Nginx data plane, which is really fast, lightweight, delivered as container in microservices, etc., etc. What we are talking about here is a big strategy from F5. There is one strategy with different visions. Okay. The first part of the strategy is to be able to deliver the set of application services that we have been providing in the last 20 years with Big IP in an automated environment. This is one of the most important things we have been doing in the last 2-3 years. Okay? How to do that? We did not change the Big IP itself, the TMOS itself. Big IP and TMOS are the Big IP is the name of the product, TMOS is our operating system. And these two things are delivering the most complete set of application services to our customers. We talked about this before, traffic management, security, visibility. What we did is to provide a set of API, a set of application programming interface to this traditional platform in order for this traditional platform to be completely automated and orchestrated by DevOps, Ops, SecOps, all these kind of guys. So at the end, one of the most important product I would say that we released in the last 3 years is the F5 automation toolchain, which is a set of declarative API, application programming interface, around the traditional solution of F5. Okay? And this is available for free in open source, in an open source way, because DevOps like open source, you know. So you have to buy the product, of course, if you want to use it. This is where we make money, actually, and Maurizio is happy because of this. But if you want to integrate, or if you are already a customer of F5, if you want to integrate this product into DevOps environments, automated environments, you can download this set of API, put them on the big IP, and start to deliver this. Okay? The other vision is all about cloud native, being cloud native. The acquisition of Nginx is something that is going in this direction, precisely. So the direction of creating a cloud native application services platform. Okay? We have been working on this since 2 years now, and the acquisition of Nginx is completing this vision. So Nginx will be part of this strategy. We have been developing something in-house too. Okay? So we have a development in-house, and then with the acquisition of Nginx, we are putting the things together to have a real cloud-native application services platform, which is working together with the traditional F5 products. Okay? You know that Nginx is open source. The Nginx data plane, the Nginx web server, reverse proxy is open source. We couldn't acquire an open source project, right? We are sponsoring open source project, and we'll see you in a moment. You'll see this in a moment. What we did acquire is nginx.com, the company behind Nginx, okay? The 2 guys that are running nginx.com are the 2 guys that invented the open source Nginx. And they built this company to make some money, of course, on top of this. They are committed to support the open source version, but they are releasing what we call Nginx Plus, which is a commercial version of Nginx. They are adding support. We, as F5, we are adding support. We are adding more feature on this, like a control, a controller, it's a central controller to take care of all the Nginx in the network. We are adding an API management solution and so on. We will see this in the second part of the morning. F5 is committed to open source. And F5 recognized that nowadays microservices are becoming very, very important in application delivery. There are initiatives in our customer to re-platforming application to go to microservices, so taking an application which is existing and rewriting this application in a microservices environment, because it's better to run there. You save money, especially in the public cloud. Of course, all the new applications that we are developing right now, most probably they will end up to be served in microservices environment, okay? And here we have a problem, and we will see this later on in details. When you go to the microservices environment, it becomes clear that you can have very, very complex architecture inside the microservices environment. So what you need, what you will need, is the so-called service mesh. The service mesh is something that is taking care of orchestrate all the microservices that are talking one to each other in the microservices environment, okay? Or in the so-called east-west traffic. Here there is a very famous open source project which is called East.io, east.io. And F5 started an initiative to incubate this project, building a new product called Aspen Mesh, which is based on the open source version of the East.io project. And F5 is adding support, and a centralized dashboard as a service, so that from the old good analytics that is coming from inside the microservices, from the STO components of analytics, we are collecting all these analytics and we are drawing beautiful dashboards for our customer to see which microservice is talking to which one, what is going on in terms of security, what is going on in terms of performances, if you have something that is not going the right direction inside the microservices between one microservice and the other, and so on. Okay? And then the last initiatives, and you can see that we have different initiatives in this vision, is to have services provided in the cloud from F5. So what we published at the very beginning of this year, January 2019, is the first service in the F5 Cloud Services initiatives. So if you want to use F5 services and you don't want to buy something from F5 in the private cloud, like an appliance or a license, or in the public cloud, you can buy the service itself. The first F5 cloud service we delivered in January is a DNS as a service, meaning that you can operate your own DNS in the network. You don't publish your own DNS in your network, but you do a zone transfer on a secondary DNS as a service in F5, and we will take care to publish your zone securely and with high performances in the cloud. We will take care of everything. You just buy the service and you pay by request per second like we do in the public cloud. Okay? And we are adding more and more. The next one we will be releasing is the GSLB solution. So load balancing, global load balancing as a service. We will add WAF as a service. We will add load balancing as a service in an agile way. Okay, so we are investing in this technology and releasing stuff every, let's say, 2-3 months. So we'll see these releases in this year. So this is the strategy. On one side, revamp the traditional application engine, the traditional product from F5, with a set of API, a declarative API, the F5 automation toolchain, to be ready to use this in automated environment. On the other side, the cloud native initiative with a cloud native application services platform built on top of Nginx, the microservices platform Aspen Mesh, and all the suite of F5 as a service solutions. Okay, this is the vision. Now, we will see during this morning. We will see in labs with hands-on some of these solutions. Okay, and I would like to start with the F5 automation toolchain, because this is what we are going to use all the morning to automate and orchestrate the F5 platform. In order to do this, I would like to show you a little bit of what we will see. Okay, this is the complete schema of some of the lab we are going to use. Basically, we are going to work in the public cloud, in some sort of private cloud. Of course, I don't have on-premises here, but I mean we can emulate it. We will impersonate in some labs the developer or the DevOps using common tools in the CI, in what we call the CI/CD pipeline, like Jenkins or Ansible. Today we will use Jenkins. To do what? To use the F5 automation tool chains centralized on a central management to deliver F5 services, that set of application services that we saw before, in different parts of the network, on different applications, running in different parts of the network, public and private, with a common view in terms of visibility and analytics. Is that okay with you? Okay. So before going to the hands-on, I would like to share with you a little bit of what is the F5 automation toolchain in terms of, and I'm keeping an eye on the time. In terms of concept, so I told you what is missing in this picture. We need to concentrate on the operations. Everything right now is very agile in the development side. In the operation, if you look at your activity day by day, the operations are still extremely slow. Why? Because DevOps are thinking of multiple releases per day, while operations are thinking about release something every 2 months. This is the difference, okay? So if we really want to take 100% of the value of the DevOps initiatives, as I told you, we need to bridge this gap, and we need to have tools that let DevOps talk to operations in a very agile way. And this is where we are operating with our automation tool chain. So what we are providing is a set of cloud templates to be able to spin up F5 gears in the public cloud without doing it manually. We have templates for Azure, templates for AWS, templates for Google Cloud Platforms, templates for VMware on the private cloud. With these templates, we can spin up an F5 box with a simple REST API call, okay, fully equipped. When the box is switched on in the right environment, we can use another set of declarative API called declarative onboarding. And with declarative onboarding, I can do all the first step of the configuration of the platform. In order to put an F5 box in production, and here I'm talking about the F5 traditional box. The F5 traditional box, historically speaking, is a network device. It has interfaces, routing protocols, switching protocols, layer 2 protocols, layer 3 protocols, layer 4 protocols. So the first thing we have to do when we put an F5 box in the network, we need to configure the very basics, okay? We need to configure the IP addresses, the VLANs, the routing, etc. Very basic stuff. Right now, you have to do, 2 years ago, you had to do this only manually through the graphical user interface or the CLI. Today, you can do this part of the configuration from layer, let's say, 2 to layer 4 with a simple REST declarative API call. Just one command, okay? And you put everything in the box that you need to have the box talking to the network. After this, of course, the network, the box is ready, is talking to the network. You need to start configure services. You need to start to configure the box to deliver application to the internet. And what you need here, you need to provide a lot of information. Usually, in the graphical user interface, you need to do something like, I don't know, 10 to 15 clicks and screens to configure the application delivery part. You need to configure the virtual IP, you need to configure the pool with pool members, the ports, the policies, the security policies, etc., etc. With application services tree extensions, right here, you do the same we did with DO. You configure a single service from layer 4 to layer 7 with a single declarative API call. Okay? Oops, sorry. And of course, we talk about visibility. Once you have the application provision on the F5 box, you need to have visibility out of the box. Historically speaking, you could do that, but you had to query the F5 box from a central side, like with SNMP, classical stuff, to get information on what is going on. In the cloud-native world, it's not like this. In the cloud-native world, the application itself has to provide information on how it's behaving. Okay? So the telemetry streaming is something that we can put on board of the big API in order to send out somewhere Grafana, Graphite, Kafka, ELK, Splunk, whatever you want, all the information you need to collect logs and do some analytics to understand how the application is going. So there are some slides I put there so that when you will get the slides, you can have more information on this. But basically, this is what this is what I told you, and this is the complete picture of what we are providing in the F5 automation toolchain. So every, let's say, between 3 and 5 weeks, we are in an agile development on this. Every 3 to 5 weeks, we release a new version of the F5 automation toolchain. So if you subscribe to our news, you will see that, hey, you know what, F5 just released version 3.11 of the F5 automation toolchain. What does it mean? It means that we are releasing all of this at the same time, a new version of all of these at the same time. We are, as I told you, we are in an agile development. We're adding more feature every release. We're correcting bugs and so on. 3 to 5 weeks, okay? It's a completely independent life cycle from the classical operating system of F5 TMOS. TMOS is going through the classical release cycle like every 6 months, let's say, for the major release. Here we are in an agile mode, okay? And what we are going to see now is an example of all the tools we are providing. It's a small example, of course, in different environments. The most important thing here is the concept of declarative, okay? And the difference between imperative and declarative, okay? The one of you that is developing something in DevOps or Agile way knows this, but just a word. The difference is that with the imperative API, you need to know how to configure something, okay? So if you want to deliver a service of F5, you need to know that you have to create what we call a virtual server, which is a virtual AP. You need to create a pool, you need to create pool members, you need to know all the details of the policy. So you need to tell the box how to configure the service. In a declarative way, you don't need to know that. You just tell the system what you want. I want this service published on this IP and delivered with these 4 servers. That's all. I don't know how to configure stuff in F5. You just send this information in a declarative way to F5, and the F5 box with the AS3 will take care of configuring stuff for you, okay? Like this is something very, very nice. Of course, we have to implement this. So the most important thing here is something related to what we said before. DevOps is not only a technological revolution, it's an organizational change too. So the people that were taking care of the F5 box before, configuring different application services for application, they are not going to do that anymore. What they are going to do, they are becoming a F5 architect or application template architect, because they have to invent a set of templates for these application services. I give an example. Let's say that a customer wants to deploy a blog, okay? Traditional web application. In this case, they configure the blog, they put in on the servers, and then they go to the F5 administrator and say, please provide me a virtual server or an IP address to deliver, a public IP address to deliver this block in Azure, okay? So you go in Azure, you have the F5 there, and this guy is configuring stuff like virtual server, pool, blah, 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 blah. And this is WordPress based on PHP and MySQL, okay? And the guy knows how to do that, but he has to do it manually. Now, in the new world, in DevOps, the developer is putting WordPress on his server or in microservices environment, and then we'll use a template, an AS3 template, to ask F5 directly, the box itself, to configure everything he needs to publish this WordPress in Azure, okay? So who is configuring the template this DevOps is going to use? The F5 architect. And the F5 architect will provide a template to deploy a web server, web traffic with a security policy for PHP and MySQL. So when the DevOps is going to put this in production, he will have a drop-down menu to choose the template, the right template for him. He will press go, and everything, the system itself, or say in technological terms, the CI/CD pipeline, is going to call via AS3 API the F5 box and to provide everything to the DevOps without interaction with the real operator of F5. Okay? Any question about this? Any curiosity? You want to share something with me? You are not doing this.
I'm just wondering how the tools are there any tools that are allowing us to integrate directly with Git providers, and how is scheduling handled on the microservices part? Is that something that needs to be implemented on the user's behalf, or you have some plans related to do something related to scheduling?
Yeah, we don't have plans because we already have a product there. Okay, and we are talking about this this morning after the coffee. I will show you an example of how to deliver, automatically deliver an F5 configuration, okay, in the cloud through a CI/CD pipeline. In that case, I've been using Jenkins and Kubernetes. Okay, so you will see this, and then after this demo, we will go back. Yeah.
What about delivering the custom boxes to the F5 service? So, for example, instead of using your own templates,
yes,
what if I want to deliver a box that has been built by Packer with my own predefined configuration and everything else?
Yep. So the templates, we need templates because, I mean, you can be declarative, but someone somewhere has to know how to configure things on the F5 box, okay? So of course, as a developer or as a DevOps, you don't know how to configure the F5 box, but someone has to, okay? So we will be this template, and then we will provide you an open API, okay? So you can package, I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but you will know as a developer how to package your API call into Jenkins or whatever in order to configure the box. I will show you something, and then we will see if I answer your question. Yeah, any other questions? Okay. There are a lot of information I told you. This is the ecosystem. So we are talking to a lot of people here in an open way, of course. As I told you, Graphite, Splunk, all the public cloud, the Git platform. And today, right now, we are going to do a demo with Terraform. We are going to demo Azure, something like this, okay? So, disclaimer. I'm going to use different labs. I'm going to use different clouds, and everything can go wrong. So I tested everything before, but I'm not sure I will be able to do everything for you. Okay, so this is Azure. Stop me, okay, if you have questions, if you want to understand something a little bit more in detail. Let's see if I can help you. But basically, for this specific demo, I'm on time. Wow. For this specific demo, we are going to use Azure as a public cloud. Okay. I already did part of the job because some part of the job are taking some time and it's not compatible with the time I have with the demo. Here we are in Azure, and what I did, I use Terraform. Who knows Terraform? Okay, couple of. So basically what we are doing here is infrastructure as a service. So normally, when you create some infrastructure to deliver a component of an application, I can do like this, most probably, okay? Can you see it? Okay. I will tell you what it is. When you are building infrastructure in the old world, you take boxes, you put in the rack, you connect cables, and then you configure the routing, the switching, blah, 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 okay? Everything that you can do, everything in the cloud at the same time, in the same way. When you go to the cloud, you cannot, I mean, yeah, you can. With serverless, you can. But let's say that you want to lift and shift some of your environment to the cloud. The first thing you have to do is to create the environment itself. Okay? And in the cloud, it's exactly the same. It's only virtual. You have virtual net instead of networks. You have virtual router. You have virtual everything, basically. Okay? So you need to take care about the networking, the subnets, the routing, the firewall, the application security, and so on. But we are DevOps. We don't want to do this manually. Or at least we want to do this manually just one time. Because then everything I did, it's software. Okay? So I can store this code somewhere, typically on Git or GitHub, which is a repository, so that I can reuse it. Suppose that we want to create a virtual network with 3 subnets. Okay? I can go to the Azure GUI. I can go to virtual networks. I can add a virtual network. And adding a virtual network, I have to provide some information here. And I'm doing this the whole style. Okay? Every time I want to add a virtual network, I have to do this. Or I create a piece of code called infrastructure as code. Okay? And I use some tools, and Terraform is one of these, to automatically read this code and create the relative things in Azure. So I give you an example. Azure infrastructure as code, GD network. Here I have the Terraform configuration. Here we are. So this is a piece of code, text file, where I just say which network I want to create, management, external, internal, with the IP addressing, the addressing of the network, and so on. And that's all. And then I run this code, and this code will go to Azure and configure everything for me. And then I store this code somewhere so that everyone can use it. This is me. I have a GitHub account. And this code I'm using in my terminal, it's coming directly from GitHub. And of course, here I have exactly the same piece of code. This is on GitHub, available for everyone to be used, to be downloaded and used. Okay? I have, in this demo, I have 2 codes like this. This one just creating, this has nothing to do with F5. This is just virtual networking in Azure. Okay? So with this, I create virtual networks. I have another piece of code, which is more related to F5. In fact, it's called F5 Terraform Azure. And here I have a piece of code that is telling Azure to create the networks, like we did before with the addressing, plus a lot of information about running a new big IP in that network. So what I'm doing here with a single command, Terraform Apply, is to read this information, put in the file, and run the script to create everything in Azure for me. It will take like 15 minutes. This is why I already did it. I cannot show you live, but trust me, after this command, it's just one simple command, Terraform Apply, I will end up in Azure, where I will go back to Azure, or resources. Okay. Sorry, resource group. So I created two things. One is called Paolo A. Malta Security Resource Group, and the other is called Paolo A. Malta Workload Resource Group. So there are 2 different parts of the network, 2 different networks. One is dedicated to security, the other one is dedicated to workloads, servers, and they are connected with something in Azure called peering. Okay, so it's a router that are connecting the 2 networks. My idea is everything I'm delivering in Azure must be published to the external world, to the internet, through a security group where there is an F5. So everything that is going to the internet is passing through an F5 box. Because with the F5 box, I can deliver all the set of application services I need to deliver the traffic, load balance the traffic, accelerate the traffic, and secure the traffic. Okay, now, why I'm telling this to you? Because one of the alternatives is to use, and you can do that, basically, is to use all the native products from Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform. You can use the load balancing from Azure. You can use the application security manager, the web application firewall from AWS. You can do that. But now imagine you are in a multi-cloud strategy. You delivered everything in AWS with all the native tool of AWS. You are happy, your application is working, and then the boss of the company, the CTO or the CEO, is coming to you and say, hey, you know what? Microsoft representatives came to me yesterday and told me that they can offer me the same services of AWS at the price. So we need to move everything tomorrow from AWS to Azure. Oh, how can I do that? Because I have to rewrite everything, you know? Because I use the native tools from AWS, and this is what is called cloud lock-in. Okay? So we want to avoid this. If we are using this kind of delivery where we have an area of the public cloud where I put my F5 box, and this F5 box is responsible to deliver all my applications with the right tool of application services, I can simply, from tomorrow, I can simply take this area of security with F5 and move it to AWS because I have this exactly the same F5 there. It's exactly the same. I just, with a command, Terraform Apply, I just recreate everything in AWS. I bring up my big IP in AWS. I cut and paste the configuration, and I'm done. I have the same set of security service in Azure and AWS with just a simple command. Okay? So we are here in this resource group. Let's say that I sent my command in Terraform. Terraform did all what he had to do to build the network. Here you can see all the pieces running in Azure. So we have the net itself with 3 subnets. We have a Linux box, has a jump host box, let's say, a simple Linux box. And we have the big IP, the F5 virtual machine running inside Azure. Okay? If we connect to this virtual machine, I think it's already here. Yes. Nope. This is, for the one of you that runs F5 recognize this. This is the main graphical user interface of F5. So I just send a command, a single command, Terraform command to Azure, and after 15 minutes, I have my box ready. Unfortunately, it's not configured. Okay, here is already licensed, but you have to put the license. You have to configure NTP, DNS, VLANs, networking, self-IP, root, etc., etc. So I can do this manually, but again, I'm a DevOps and don't want to do that manually. So what I use, declarative onboarding, one of the pieces, one of the components of the F5 automation toolchain, in order to provide the first configuration of the box. Let's do that. Let's try to do that at least. So here I have Postman. Who knows Postman? Okay. So when you have an API, an application programming interface, you have a server part, like a web application, you have a server part and the client part. The server part is the one providing the API, and in this case, it's the F5 itself, presenting itself to the world with its own API, the F5 automation toolchain. On the other side, you have something that needs to talk to this API, okay, the client. Postman is an API client. It's very low level, but it can be used to test API, to build API. It's a very good example of a developer tool. And what I'm going to do here is, so right now, the big IP is in Azure, somewhere in Azure, I don't know where. The Postman is running here on my Mac, okay, in Malta. So from here, I'm going to ask authorization to the big IP to talk to him, 200 OK with an authentication token. I'll show you. This is my authentication token. Because I send a request to the API, I present myself as Paolo with a password. The F5 box said, OK, you're authorized. This is your token. Okay? And with this token, we are sending, what is it? Here, Azure, send do declaration. So this is the declaration we are sending, and I will show you. It's a single file. It's called JSON File. Okay? We are sending just one command, just one API request. We attach this file. In the post, there is this JSON file. And you can recognize here that I'm sending the license. I'm sending the DNS configuration. I'm sending the NTP configuration, the time zone, the passwords for different users, the provisioning of the box, which kind of modules I want to run on this box. I'm enabling, what is it? LTM and ASM, so the basic load balancer and the web application firewall. I'm configuring VLANs on the box. I'm configuring self-IP, the IP address that box uses to talk to the network. And I'm configuring the root and some DB variables. So this is the complete file, just one file. Okay. Now, I need to know how this file I need to know how to populate this file, but in this case, I'm an F5 administrator. The good thing is that I do this just once. I send this command, and then I pray that it's working. Okay, here you see the results. This is an asynchronous API call. So I send the command and I disconnect it. And it's basically, the API itself is telling me, OK, thank you. I got a request and I'm running it. Okay? So it's running in the box right now to configure things. I'm not doing an imperative configuration here. I'm not going step by step on the box saying you need to configure the NTP, you need to configure the DNS, then you need to configure the VLAN, blah, blah, blah. I'm just sending the information to the box, how I want the box to talk to the network. That's all. And then the box will take care of it. Okay? Of course, I can query. This is the ID. I can query what is going on. It's still running. It takes some time. And we are going to wait. Of course, this can be templated. This API call can be called from anywhere in the network. Okay? So this is the API call that we need to use to configure the network, the networking part of the box itself. To give an example, a very good example on who is using this API call, I will nominate Cisco ACI. Okay? We just released 2 days ago a new integration with Cisco ACI platform, and Cisco ACI is using DO, declarative onboarding, and AS3, application services tree, so API call to the F5 box, to automatically manage the F5 box from the ACI environment. So with this plugin for the ACI environment, and you can download the plugin for their, I don't know, they have a sort of Apple Store for ACI. You can download this plugin, put it in your ACI deployment, and when you have this plugin from F5, you can basically spin up and control an F5 box directly from ACI. And what in the background is using ACI? These calls. Okay? Any question? Yes. We can leave the mic to him. Okay, speak loud.
Is there any chance that maybe you're going to down the line create some kind of a plugin for Terraform that can
kind of abstract this and just
Yeah. I mean,
allow people to use the services from Terraform directly.
good question. Now, we are going into the DevOps world. And DevOps world is like, you know Lego, now when you were a kid and you were playing with Lego. It's the same. It's the same. You have tons of tools, you know? So would you do this with Terraform, or would you do this with Ansible? This is the question. So some DevOps will tell me Terraform. Some other DevOps will tell me Ansible. The good news is that we support Terraform and we support Ansible, so you choose. Yes, you can call this API from Terraform. Yes, you can call this API from Ansible. You choose. Good? OK. So in the meantime, I managed to take some time to get a successful result now. So I queried another time the API, and the API told me, results 200 OK, success. Yes, we have configured the box. So let's go back to the box, OK, and see what happened. I didn't touch it. I go back to Azure in my box. Of course, I need to relog in because I changed the password, and of course, I don't remember the password. So this is why I have it somewhere here. Not here. Where is it? Here. This one. Should be this one. Sorry about that. Yes. OK, as you can see, I don't see anymore the login screen, the first login screen when I have an empty box. But I have everything configured. I have the NTP configured, the tree NTP. I have the DNS configured. But most importantly, I have the network part configured. VLANs, self-IPs with the right IP into the right subnet of Azure, and the routing. And the box is ready to do what? To take API call on AS3 to configure services, virtual server. OK? Didn't touch the box, just send an API call with the DO. And this was DO, declarative onboarding. Let me check the time. OK. We're good. Now, we have the box. Any questions? Is it clear? I mean, I know that you probably, if you don't know the F5 very, very well, you probably get lost somewhere. But I'm not teaching you how to use the F5 box. Okay. The message for today is, if you have an F5 box somewhere, and you can have a F5 box everywhere, in the private cloud, in the public cloud, etc., you don't have to touch it to configure it. You just need to use API and integrate this into API environments. This is the message. OK, let's go to, now we configured the box from the networking part. Now we want to deliver application on this box. To do that, we need to use AS3. Let's try to use AS3. I'm going to switch to another environment right now. I'm running, this is a private F5 environment for us to do labs, OK? It's running somewhere. I don't know where, most probably in AWS. Yes. It's a sort of private SDN for me, OK? I can use it to create environment. I just click here to have a subnet, and so on, and it's very, very easy. I did it for you, and we have here, so if we go back here, do you remember these slides? So we have a central management console, which is called BigIQ in F5, OK? And then BigIP around the network. BigIP is the application delivery platform. BigIQ is the central management. So I did show you this because here you have both of them. Basically, you have one BigIP, which is the platform, one BigIQ for the central management, and what we call DCD, the device that is collecting device and analytics. Basically, is a containerized ELK, something like this. OK? Never mind. Then we have a couple of clients. Let's access this big IP box. No, sorry, let's access the big IQ, which is here already. I prepared it, login. This is the centralized management of the big IP environment. I can manage big IP all around the world from here, okay? I can manage big IP, which is sitting just behind the big IQ in the network. I can manage big IP in the clouds, okay? And I can collect information from all these big IPs for visibility reasons. This is the application visibility part of big IQ, and there is nothing here, okay? No application configured. I will ask, no, I already have it here. This is a Windows somewhere in AWS. And what I'm doing here, I'm trying to send a command, an AS3 command. Now, this is a little bit complex compared to the DO JSON, but the technology is exactly the same. Okay? What I'm doing here is sending a single command API call with the JSON payload to the big IQ, to the centralized management, to tell big IQ to configure an application on a specific F5 box, a specific big IP. Okay? Of course, I'm using a declaration type AS3, Application Services 3, and of course, you have all the reference in the cloud. It's an open API, so you can read the references there. And I'm sending a lot of information here. So for the one of you that knows the F5 platform, you know that when I configure an application in the F5 network, I need to configure at minimum one virtual server, which is the virtual IP, one pool with some pool member inside. Most probably, if I want to optimize the application, I will personalize the TCP profile for this application. I can personalize the HTTP profile for this application. I can set the network under translation if I need it. I can use some rules or some URI switching rules. I can do a bunch of stuff, okay? Everything that you're going to do manually in the F5 box, you can do it on this JSON payload, okay? Of course, you need to do what you are doing, but this is just an example because you can associate this one with templates, as I told you before. So you don't need to know all these details because this can be just a template, okay? And when you configure this template, you're just going to provide some of the variables, you know, like I don't know, the company name, the name of the application, the name of the pool, blah, 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 and so on. So AS3 in public cloud can even do service discovery. What does it mean? If you are in the public cloud, you can tag your application servers, and then you just simply to the big IP, you know what? You are delivering this application, and the pool you need to use to deliver this application, you can just query the public cloud with this tag. And the public cloud will reply to you dynamically the IP address of the workload that you have to target as pool members. Okay? So you are building dynamically the pool members you need to use to load balance this application. I'm not showing this to you today, but it's possible. And when you are in a co-location situation where you know that one of the most used hybrid cloud platform is the so-called Equinix. Who knows Equinix? Is there Equinix in Malta, by the way? No, okay. So we have it in Italy. They open it in Milano, and there are a lot of around Europe. They are opening in Madrid, so they are doing a very good job. And what they are doing basically is to give you a rack in a space, and they have high-speed internet connection, and they have direct connection to all the cloud. Okay? So basically, you can put your security stuff in Equinix colocation, directly connected with all the public cloud. Directly connected means that you can reach Amazon Cloud, Azure Cloud, or Google Cloud Platform Cloud with millisecond latency, okay? 110 millisecond latency with high bandwidth. It's like a local data center, you know. So what you can do here with AS3, you can instruct the big IP to create a pool made of pool member, and the pool member are coming from different clouds. You see the vision? You put one single public IP to serve the application, and then you load balance the application to different workloads running in different clouds. all directly connected with the collocation Equinix. Devi dirmi qualcosa? Mi guardi male? Hai capito tutto? Sorry about that. Okay, so let's try to send this. As I told you, we are sending this to the central management, and the central management, we send this to the big IP, wherever it is. Okay, it's in AWS right now. Send. Again, this is an asynchronous call. We have an ID here, and we can query this ID, of course. There is another API call I can use to query the ID. And what it's doing. It's pending. It's running and it's pending, meaning that he's doing stuff. Okay? If we are lucky, I'm not sure we are lucky, but if you're lucky, in some minutes, we will see something in BigIQ. Oh, it's there. Application. I did not touch BigIQ. There was nothing here before. Now I have it, and it's green. You know why? It's not because we like green. It's green because we are already getting visibility, streaming of telemetry from the big IP which is running this application. And we are centralizing the information. So if you see the story here, this is a centralized management, and we can see all our application. We don't even know where they are running. I mean, someone knows where they are running, but if I just if I am a business user and I just want to see if everything is green, I can have this dashboard and say, oh, the Apache blah blah is not green, so something's wrong, okay? But I don't even know that it's running on a big IP in Azure or in Amazon. Right now it's in Amazon, by the way. And if I click inside here, I have all the information that I can browse to understand how the application is running on the client side, on the environment, on the big IP itself, and on servers. Like here, I have two servers. I'm load balancing two servers here. I can click here, and immediately I will be in the statistics part of the server side, like server latency, application response time. You see here. Server side, RTT, TPS, response error. So you have the complete visibility of what is going on this single application. And this is done through a single API call towards BigIQ, which is configuring BigIP and sending back to you all the analytics. We did not touch the BigIP. Actually, there is a BigIP in the story, of course, and I will show you. Its component, BigIP1, TMUI. Okay, we are here, virtual server. There is a little bit of complexity around the way that BigIP is taking care of this using partition. I don't want to go into too much detail on the BigIP side, but there is, of course, this Apache test company com, which is the name of the application, and everything is configured for me. I just send one API call with the F5 toolchain to the BigIQ, which configure the BigIP, and I'm getting at the visibility. And this was a F5 automation toolchain. So the first part of the strategy, if you remember, we can run this on BigIQ, AS3, we can run this on BigIQ, we can run this on BigIP, we can run even this on a specific separated container. Okay, we can run AS3, the API calls into a specific separated container independently from BigIQ or BigIP. Three ways to deliver AS3. And I think I'm done for this. Any questions?
Do you have a question?
Yes, you have.
You must have, absolutely. Otherwise, you're not eating, I'm telling you.
As a matter of fact, I have a question. You said you don't have to go through BigIP, BigIQ to make the API calls. That means that you can communicate through the API directly with the machines and perform actions on them. Did I understood it correctly?
You can communicate. So if you choose this direction and you want to provide services with AS3, you don't need to touch the box. You talk only through API to the box, okay? Why? Because this is going through the declarative paradigm. So you have the source of truth, and the source of truth is always the same, and it's not the big IP, it's something else. Most probably, this JSON payload will be hosted and will be stored on GitHub or somewhere else for everyone to have a view on what has been done on this. So every time you need to change this is very important. Thank you for the question. I'm not sure I'm answering the question, but this is giving me the opportunity to tell you something I forgot, which is really, really important. We are used, and I have this discussion every day with every customer. In the very first months of the automation, what was happening? There was a sort of automation, imperative automation. This automation were creating something on the big IP, and then the operator, they were modifying directly on the big IP the service. You know, adding something, putting a profile, changing a TCP optimization, blah, 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 direct on the big IP. With AS3, this is not possible anymore, because if you touch something on the big IP, on the box itself, the next time the DevOps will release a new version of the application, the AS3 will run again and will overwrite everything you did manually. And this is because of the source of truth, which is not the big IP, but something else. Did I answer the question? Yes. OK, thank you. This is very important, by the way. Thank you.
I have a question as well.
Oh.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'm glad. Somebody else.
Then we need a question from that side,
yeah,
right?
We've got
Okay.
petition it.
Load balancing.
What is the commercial proposition? What are you selling, actually?
The big IP.
That's it?
That's it.
So everything is just enabling the service?
So I'll tell you one thing. It's a good question, actually, and Maurizio is asking this question every day. So what we do, what I sell? DevOps. What they are doing? Dev and Ops. If we understood from our customer that if we didn't provide the possibility for DevOps to talk to our box in an API fashion, we were out. This is the answer. So it's not, the question is not what are you selling. The question is how do you not, how do you say in English? Push out of the game, right? So this is why we released this open source, and we are supporting open source, because we want our DevOps, our customers' DevOps, to talk to us, okay? So we can stay in the game, and we can add value. This is the first, let's say, business answer. Then there is a technological answer. We are sponsoring a transition that everyone is trying to do right now with difficulties. It's the transition from DevOps to DevSecOps. Because DevOps, they have been very good in inventing this way to be agile in the last 10 years, inventing this way to be agile, to deliver to the market multiple releases of the application every day, blah, 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 blah. They've completely forgot security. Completely. They don't care about security, okay? Developers, they are not able to write secure code, simply like this. Sorry if someone is not agreeing with me on this, but it's like this. I mean, usually 90% of the developers, they are not able to write secure code, okay? It's impossible. So we need to add security, and DevOps, usually they are forgetting security. So putting the F5 in the game with an open API, an open source API, is the way to bring back security into the application delivery of DevOps. Is this something that makes sense for you? Another question? Yes?
Yeah, he's ready.
I feel like at home now. Actually, I have one more question. I mean, if this is the approach that you're taking, that you're kind of helping out to your customers with the DevOps, then my question is, within this whole application so far, I haven't seen any kind of Git integration where the CI/CD pipelines would come in. That's one of the things.
In the CI/CD pipeline?
CI/CD pipeline will come into play in order to deliver an application. For example, some of the applications that are running nowadays are mostly containerized.
Yes.
It doesn't matter whether it's an LXC, a Docker, or whatever. Now, when it comes to that, those images need to be built somewhere. Also, if we're speaking about the security, there are certain standards which can be done in an automated way to kind of check for the security vulnerabilities within the actual applications. Yep. How does that fit into?
Yep. So an example, we have an integration with Sonatype. Who knows Sonatype? Sonatype is a tool in the DevOps, developer world that is able to discover vulnerabilities in the common libraries you are using in open source. You know, nobody of us writes code from scratch. We all use libraries, okay, found in the internet. So are you asking yourself what I am using? Am I using something secure? So Sonatype is doing exactly this. It takes your source code, analyze your source code, the dependency of your source code, and then it will find vulnerabilities for you because that library version 1.3 of, I don't know, IMAP, has some vulnerabilities. So we have an integration, and using our API, Sonatype is going to do what? Is notifying the developer that he has a vulnerability on that specific part of the library. At the same time, is instructing the F5 box to update the security policy for that application, including all the signature for that specific CV, automatically. You don't have to touch the security policy. Sonatype is doing that. So typically, all the tests, one of the most important part of the CI/CD pipeline, correct me if I'm wrong, is the test phase. No? So when you deliver the product in production, you deliver it only if you pass all the tests in the CI/CD pipeline. One of the tests could be done by Sonatype, and then Sonatype, if finds something wrong, will instruct the web application firewall for F5, which is publishing the application, to update the signature to correct that specific CV. This is just an example, but it gives you the correct idea behind this automation of security. Yeah.
And the other way around.
And the other way around. What does it mean?
When if the library is changed,
yes,
then there's automatic deprovisioning, so the rule is no
exactly.
longer...
Exactly, yes.
Thank you.
So
that's the only thing I know.
You understood that. Okay. Yes?
Oh. Yeah, they got upset. You know, of course, there's a competition.
So this is a new role for Maurizio, huh? This is a new role for Maurizio.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. I need to get a hang on it, but I'm sure I can manage it.
How viable are the tools for example, intranet applications for on-premise solutions? How viable are these automation tools?
Viable?
Can they be used for intranet zones on-premise?
Yes. I mean, yeah. But, so most of, I'm not sure I get the question, but most of our F5 boxes are running fronting the internet in the world. So most of the application we are publishing, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that you're using F5, most of the application we are publishing are on public IP address, and public IP addresses are on the F5 box itself. Okay, so yes, it's reliable, it's completely supported. It's open source, by the way, I forgot to say. It's open source, but it's completely supported by F5. So if you have an issue with an API call to F5 box, you can open a case to F5, and we will get it addressed. I don't know if I got the question correctly. Yeah. So we are a company in Italy selling fashion online. So they are doing business only online, and they are using this technology to deliver their application. And it's completely internet-based.
Yes, hi. About the API controls and so on, it's something that we already are using with the Nginx Plus. So we are already deploying through using the API and the Nginx controller. So I don't want to be rude, but for us it's something new, and I'm not seeing any benefit to change from Nginx Plus to F5. But our main issue, especially when it comes to Terraform or Ansible or other kind of automation tools that we have on the market is to protect and to avoid that someone by mistake is going to destroy or overwrite the application or whatever it is, especially with Terraform when you have one TF state, if someone by mistake is going to run Terraform destroy the chef is going to be
a disaster.
Yes, and my question is, F5 is offering something to protect or to lock some resource or some application, or we can call whatever we want. Thanks.
Yes, good questions. The answer is I don't think so. So we are following the declarative way, meaning
it's available from everywhere, especially if it's internet facing.
I mean, no.
I mean,
of course.
I still have to implement.
No, of course, you have to be authenticated. You need token and everything else. But if you are authorized in your company,
Azure, you can lock a resource.
Yeah, on Azure, everything is, I mean, yeah, I understood.
No,
because
just to give you an example, you can lock a resource group. So everything that is part of that resource group cannot be touched or overwrite or delete or even named anymore.
Yeah, yes, in this case, yes.
Yes. Do you have? Yes, but do you have this kind of feature on F5 when it comes to automation?
Yes. So you can. So I'm not sure, but what you can do, of course, you can. You need to protect the API in the right way, okay? But of course, if you are authorized to give instruction to the F5 box through API, you can destroy everything. That's the rule. I mean, it's declarative. So if you send the wrong command, you will destroy things. That's. But you need to be authorized to work with the F5 box, of course.
He's back.
Yeah, I mean, you need to use all the authorization SSH key.
If you have SSH access to the box, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can destroy everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a difference between danger of using API.
No?
Yeah, I mean, we can discuss a little bit over the coffee if you want.
Just
for me to be sure that I got your comment correctly.
Non-technical. It's not a question of why move to 5. We bought Nginx, so we're going to carry on expanding on what they already built. That's the major difference. So it's not we didn't buy something to destroy it. We bought the product because we felt it was needed. Yeah, just yeah.
I think we have the problem with internet.
On vous dit?
No.
I'm just going to check.
Internet is broken right now. I can go with my.
It's online. Che coglione.
Let's go with the. Andiamo col telefonino.
Cioè? Facciamo vedere cosa questo.
Vediamo. Come on.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so have you all downloaded the app? You have? Okay, so we're going to try to see whether it works. So if you all log in, you will see now all your names appearing on the screen.
Okay. Okay, you have to use this number, 551082. So you go to the application. In the very center of the bottom bar, there is a big icon, colored icon. You click there. And then you put the name, you put the nickname.
Whatever you put in, it will appear.
So then, okay, one thing. I'm okay with nicknames, but then you have to demonstrate that if you win, that you are that nickname, okay?
Say it again?
Yes, you can use that one, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Just put the right number, and then you have to be sure that you see yourself in the screen, right?
It's like watch paint drying. Exciting.
Just a party. 2, 4, 6, 8, 3 per 8, 24. Wow. 28. Ah, è qua.
Stavi contando?
Sì.
Okay, let's start. So the idea, the way it works, you see a question coming up on the screen, and you have 4 options. And you have a number of seconds to answer those questions. And you will see in real time who's actually getting the questions right. You will collect points, and you will see who the winner is at the end of the questions.
Anyone has trouble to join? We should start in 30 seconds. Leggi tu.
Facciamo un po' uno per l'altro, tanto per alternare.
Spero di aver detto tutto quello che devo dire. Oh, I mean, there are technical questions on what I said this morning.
Yeah, don't ask me. Go to
Yeah,
him.
I could have been forgetting something. If I did, just go randomly, and if you don't know.
I'll give you his home address.
Yeah. Okay, let's start. Ready?
Right. So, how can I get the F5 automation tool chain from my big IP? That's the first question.
It is available on GitHub, open source. Ask to an F5 reseller, go to the dark web, ask for a quotation to an F5 representative. And yeah.
20 what? 20
It's available on
right.
GitHub. It's open source, the F5 automation toolchain. Okay? Go. And headlay.
So if you get it right, also it checks the timing. So
Yeah,
the quickest
exactly.
you are, the better it's going to be for you. Go on.
Okay?
The F5 automated toolchain can be integrated in selected 3.
Jenkins, WordPress, Ansible, Terraform. You have to select 3 of them. Sorry?
31. People will listen to you.
Okay.
Good. Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Headley's
Just
going
a part
well.
is coming.
Who's Headley?
Headley. Who's Headley?
Oh, he was in the first row. I can see that. AS3 can be installed as.
So IAPLX, an independent container. IAPLX on Big IQ, on Big IP, an independent container. All of them. Huh? 8. All of them. Big IP, Big IQ, and in an independent container. Wow.
He is racing.
Yeah, but Jeopardy is coming. Who's
Yes,
Jeopardy?
catching up.
Yeah.
Which F5 product are part of the F5 Automation Toolchain Initiative? Select 2. Oh, you're waking them up, aren't you?
Yeah.
Good man.
Come on. Wow. Okay, IS3 and DO.
Head to head. Which cloud-native product F5 Network did buy in May 2019? I know that.
No.
No?
You
I
need to
don't.
get the answer or what?
Oh, I see. No, I don't.
Which one is this?
I'll tell you later. I don't want to give him a clue.
Yeah. The company called nginx.com and all its product. I told you before. I remember. So just to give you a clarification here, because most of you said Nginx Plus. Yes, of course we bought Nginx Plus, but not only Nginx Plus, because as we will see afterward, nginx.com is going to sell Nginx Plus, the controller, the API management, and the web server.
Ooh.
Oh, KC.
Which is one of the most important key aspects when integrating product in a DevOps strategy.
This one is easy. Come on. I expect a lot of right answer. If not, it's my bad because I was not clear, right?
Probably, most likely.
Good, thank you. Automation and orchestration, of course. It's not imperative. Of course, it's not the command line, and of course, it's not the UI.
According to F5 Networks, which is one of the most disruptive events in IT? You've got to get this right, please.
You know that one, no?
I do.
Okay, it's digital revolution, as Maurizio said in his presentation. I know that you were not
Asleep.
listening to him.
Yeah.
It's okay, don't worry. It's not.
Not important.
KC. Who's KC? So the last one.
How F5 is building its strategy in the cloud-native world.
Eight seconds to the coffee. And we are on time. Yes, all of the answers. And
The winner are?
wow! Sorpasso alla fine.
So Max X,
Max X.
right?
Okay, right.
And the second one is Joseph.
Joseph.
Right.
Yes.
So if you two then can go to the desk, provide your details, you will receive an Amazon, what's it called?
Echo dot.
Echo dot. I forgot.
Thank you guys. Have a nice
Coffee.
coffee.
We're probably going to take, what, 20 minutes?